Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, Bitcoin has sparked fresh interest from mainstream consumers after its price nosedived to its lowest levels since May this week. According to data from Google Trends, Bitcoin and associated terms have increased in popularity conspicuously over the past week. Currently, Bitcoin, the term, is at its highest search ranking since late October, when Bitcoin traded above 10,000 US dollars. Here's a little chart right there. Geographically, interest appears to be coming from Africa, with Nigeria, South Africa, and Ghana forming the top three sources, Austria and Switzerland completing the top five. Out of all the places in this world, the top three places are Nigeria, South Africa, and Ghana. That is insane. Attention is also focusing on factors beyond the Bitcoin price. The term Bitcoin halving is likewise in the spotlight once again since its October highs. The event, which is scheduled for May 2020, is widely considered a catalyst for markets, with multiple analysts predicting a new parabolic bullish phase beginning after or just before the halving. It kind of ranges depending on who you really talk to. A lot of people think that we are in the beginning of what could be considered the next bull run up, i.e. the market had to retest another bottom, or rather market makers, movers and shakers, had to figure out exactly how low the price of Bitcoin would go before it bounced back up. And apparently that number was 6,500. And after that point, Bitcoin shot back up to 7,000 something, where it currently is right now. And therefore, that was, so they say, one of the final tests, and then therefore Bitcoin should be going up in anticipation of the price, or rather of the reward getting cut in half, and therefore the new hype and fervor within the market. The other side of that is also people think that the market won't move up at all until the news about Bitcoin's reward getting cut in half has happened, and then also permeates into the mainstream, i.e. it has to be something that people not are told to be interested in, but a lot of people, especially new people who are getting into the cryptocurrency space or are getting into Bitcoin, they typically have, and this is from what I've seen, my opinion, they typically have no idea what they're doing, and they get into the space. They think that Bitcoin is like some type of a money vehicle, and they need to see that other people are getting into it in order for them to get into it themselves. Remember when I was talking about before, when Bitcoin's price was like 3, 4, 5,000? And I said I didn't really expect a big move up until Bitcoin had passed by 10,000, and then Bitcoin passed by 10,000 and ended up hitting 14,000. That was mainly because it's a very psychological number. So nobody, or very few people, understand the magic, I don't know, of being able to buy Bitcoin at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000. But when they see it above 10,000, that sparks their interest, because they go, I want something that's worth 10,000. As opposed to being like, oh, I could also have bought it when it was lower. The point being, here's the actual page right here for Google Trend searches: Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, Austria, and then Switzerland. And I think some of the other major countries. Russia has a score of 4. Nigeria has a score of 100. 100 when it comes to searches for Bitcoin. South Africa has 44. Ghana has 42. Russia has a 4. It's kind of insane. Canada has a 24. Here's the interesting part. Canada has a 24, and the US has a 21, which means that more people are searching for the term Bitcoin or anything Bitcoin related in Canada than they are in the US, which is typically the place that we hear about the most when it comes to cryptocurrency adoption, which probably is only because we maybe only hear about it from major news sources, as opposed to maybe the actual thing that's happening as well. And Brazil has 33, which is higher than the US and Canada as well. So, and the other things that people are searching for, like Moon Bitcoin Live, Bitcoin price X2W. Oh gosh, that's such a scam. Oh gosh, I can, just by reading it. Bitcoin's Safi. I don't know what any of these things are. This one is a scam. I remember I mentioned this before in another video. There are videos out there on YouTube. Please pay attention if you see one of them. They tell you to send your Bitcoin to them, and they'll give you twice the amount of Bitcoin you send them. I know a lot of you just shook your heads or said an expletive. The point is, a lot of people have fallen for these. I saw these start popping up last summer, and I was like, there's no chance that people would actually do this. The first couple ones that I saw popping up were for Ethereum, and it was pretty much like, send us 1 Ether and we'll send you back 2. And people in the comment section were like, no way. And you could see the scammy people talking about, oh my gosh, I just got back 2 Ether. And I saw someone in the comment section reading other people's comments, and he went, fine, I'm going to send 10 Ether to this address. And he sent his 10 Ether. And about 3 minutes later, in the little comment box on the side, he was asking other people if they had received their Ether. And they're like, yeah, I received mine. That guy, of course, did not receive his Ether. And he cursed for about a good 25 minutes at everyone else. And other people started also sending, it was just a, oh my gosh, the cryptocurrency space is so weird. If it sounds like it's scam, it probably is. If someone is offering you free money, have you ever walked down the street and someone's like, here's $1,000? If that hasn't happened to you in your entire life, and you think that someone on the internet is randomly just going to give you free money, it's probably a scam. Just going to throw that out there. Also interesting to get back on the actual topic at hand, as it were. What I found the most interesting, and we're also going to dive like slightly into that a bit later on in the video, is that the uptick in the amount of countries who need Bitcoin or would benefit greatly from Bitcoin are starting to actually use Bitcoin and search for Bitcoin more. This is why I said it's very fascinating that we have a number of African countries who historically maybe haven't had the easiest economically wise, I don't know, as other countries, starting to pop up in the rankings as well. We've had news before from other countries. Let me see if I can find Venezuela. 27. Okay. From other countries before who simply weren't into cryptocurrencies, and now they are in economic dire straits, that the news says, and therefore they're starting to kind of get it. Anyway, we've seen before in the past that when spikes for Bitcoin have risen, it is usually followed by a price rise itself, as people are interested and people are looking for ways to purchase some as well. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, the CEO of Binance has vowed to sue industry media outlet The Block over alleged false reporting. And an ongoing Twitter post or Twitter exchange on the 22nd of November, Changpeng Zhao promised to take legal action over an article that claimed Binance's Shanghai office was receiving attention from Chinese police. He said, "We will be suing them," he wrote in one tweet. The offending piece originally surfaced on Friday and was part of multiple reports of a fresh crypto clampdown by China. At the same time, Bitcoin slid to $7,000. And I mentioned, if you didn't see my other video, I said this before all of this even happened. Everything that happened, the news that we got was from the website called The Block, and they said that something had happened to Binance, and the people from Binance have said, no, this never happened to us. Part of the problem is that Binance, being the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the entire world, when people hear that something bad has happened to them, people begin to panic. Even though people don't get the difference between Bitcoin and Binance. They think that all these things are so interconnected, and that if something happens wrong to Binance, therefore something wrong has happened to Bitcoin. It's completely nonsensical. They've done studies before with people, and they said, what if we told you that so and so and so was hacked? What happens to Bitcoin? They go, well, Bitcoin was also hacked. People have no idea that Bitcoin is its own separate entity, and this is why things like this are a problem, because if you can report something false and it scares the entire market, especially saying that the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the entire world has something negative happen to it, people who don't know what Bitcoin actually is, they sell off their Bitcoin in fear, and then it affects the entire market. And also the face of Binance themselves. If people hear that something bad has happened to them, they go, oh my gosh, especially people who don't do a follow-up, and all they have in their mind is that one negative thing that happened to Binance. What happens to Binance? The Block initially made its claims under the headline, Binance's Shanghai office shut down following visit by authorities, sources say. After a wide backlash over the factual accuracy of the article, during which Tang Pengsao demanded the publication apologize, but ruled out court action. The block released a follow-up piece defending its stance. Long story short, he said he's going to sue them. Simply, and it's for a number of reasons. I'm not going to comment if this is right or wrong that they are being sued. It's more so we need more due diligence in the cryptocurrency space. One should not be able to simply post something on the internet that they think is possibly correct, maybe without even multiple sources, unless they state this could be this could be not factual and like the first headline that people read, because it causes the cryptocurrency market to move, and that's not good. Anyway, my video got taken down because I was talking about this as well. Long story short, let's move on before I get any more steaming, doesn't matter. Let's move on. Next up, Ripple's remittance partner, known as TransferGo, is looking to expand its use of the San Francisco startup's cross-border payment solution. According to a new blog post, the companies are partnering to offer global real-time payments everywhere to everyone. TransferGo CEO Dalmantas Dvilinskas says the company is taking advantage of Ripple's network of banks and financial institutions called RippleNet to expand to new regions. RippleNet is facilitating a new partnership and helping to expand to new geographies. We share a vision of a world where cross-border payments are frictionless and accessible. We're helping people save up to 90% on traditional fees from cross-border transfers that make a real difference to their lives. Ripple recently listed TransferGo as one of 6 companies that has implemented Ripple's XRP-based cross-border payment solution known as ODL, or on-demand liquidity. TransferGo is exploring how to utilize ODL to move money without having... It's really weird, and I won't lie, it's really weird saying ODL as opposed to XRapid. It's very, very weird. How to utilize ODL to move money without having to hold funds in bank accounts across the world in a process known as pre-funding. He said TransferGo is looking to use RippleNet's on-demand liquidity with XRP as an alternative to pre-funding. At the same time, the company is expanding its real-time operations into new markets in Southeast Asia, Latin America, and Africa with RippleNet. I think that is probably one of the smartest things that they could do. We had relatively faint amount of news before from the people from Ripple that they were going to be expanding into Latin America or into Africa. We heard about Southeast Asia before. I think it's one of the most intelligent things that they could do, simply because that part of the world actually needs it, and it's believed that the technology will catch on there quicker than other places. Here's the actual article right here from Ripple, where they have a little chart on the side. It says, who uses on-demand liquidity? MoneyGram, Instarim, Mercury FX, I think that's the company that's using it in Mexico, TransferGo, SendFriend, and GoLance, and that's a few of the, I think there are about 24, 25 companies who are actively using XRP. Anyway, this is very cool news. I like that we're getting updates often from different cryptocurrency projects because we were not getting them before. I do not, however, believe that this is going to have any influence on XRP's price. I don't say that to be cynical. It's more like a lot of companies have stopped releasing any information or good news or updates or so and so and so because it does nothing to the price. And also, we've seen before in the past, I can't even think of like a more popular celebrity, anything like that. An entire country could adopt XRP and XRP's price would still go down. There are a lot of reasons why people think this is happening. It is believed that we are at a point in the cryptocurrency space history where Bitcoin dominates more than people are actually believing. And it's not so that Bitcoin is the better coin, the so-and-so coin. It's more like a all eyes are on Bitcoin kind of thing. This is why even the release of news that Ethereum's upgrades after 3 years of waiting are probably going to be activated on the 7th of December have also caused the price to either go down or simply not move. It's because everyone seems to be waiting for Bitcoin to do something, and therefore the rest of the market has to wait for Bitcoin. But the point is, the use of XRP is continuing to go up. There are a number of other, people who have been looking out there, and they see that the volume on the the XRP ledger has continued to increase over the last couple of months, which means that more people are using XRP, and one can only assume it's also the companies who are also listed here who are using XRP. Anyway, if only good news translated into good prices, but what have you. Let's move on. Next up, South Korea's National Assembly is progressing a bill that will provide a legal basis for cryptocurrencies in the country. The bill categorizes virtual currencies as digital assets and intends to bring regulatory clarity and transparency to crypto markets in South Korea. English language newspaper Korea Jung-ang Daily reported on the 27th, that's today, of November. According to the report, the bill was passed by the National Assembly's National Policy Committee and still needs to be approved by the Judiciary Committee. If approved, the law would come into force in 2020, it was noted. Under the bill, all crypto-related businesses in South Korea would be required to register with the Financial Services Commission's FSC Financial Intelligence Unit FIU and report to the authority. In order to be approved as a crypto firm in the country, crypto businesses will have to obtain an Information Security Management System certificate from the state-run Korea Internet and Security, these names, Korea Internet and Security Agency, and it's all like the same kind of sounds as well. It's a whole bunch of like S and Ks. Anyway, the FSC stated that the legislation will make crypto markets more transparent and legitimize investment in digital assets. The authority stressed that the bill will require crypto-related businesses to prevent illicit practices such as money laundering. Here we go, right here. Additionally, crypto firms will have to adopt their own monitoring system for financial transactions in compliance with these standards by the FATF, the Financial Action Task Force. I read this on another website, but they had almost no information on it. It was very weird. They had the information, but it was like a small little blurb. Like there was no actual going into any details as to exactly how this was going to work. First, cool. Where we've gotten to the point where we are no longer at the end of 2017, the very beginning of 2018, and the South Korean government is scaring people talking about that cryptocurrencies are going to be banned. Wonderful. We're in the future. Second, after the not banning of cryptocurrencies, we had news at the middle of 2018 and also the end of 2018 that we would have had law from South Korean lawmakers about the actual, not legality of cryptocurrencies, but the, what's the word? Rules and regulations for cryptocurrencies. Apparently, we can all see that did not happen. So what we ended up having is right now, this is why I said the news is kind of trying to find a silver lining, if you will. We're going to have regulations for the South Korean cryptocurrency space. And this is important because in 2017, South Korea and Japan ruled the cryptocurrency markets. They dominated. Like when we looked at trading volume, nearly, I think more than half of it was coming from just those two countries alone. It was absolutely insane. Everyone was sleeping on the cryptocurrency prices as Bitcoin went from 900 to 20,000. And the seemingly only couple of people who really paid attention were Japan and South Korea. Not to say that other people didn't pay attention, but they controlled the market. The point being, this is very good news. We should have expected or should have known that the cryptocurrency regulations around the world would not be open, that people wouldn't be able to do exactly what they want. That's not how certain monetary policies work around the world. The third part being that they will have to comply, no one should be surprised by this, with the rules from the Financial Action Task Force, who noted at the beginning of this year that they would have a worldwide blanket over cryptocurrency regulations. And I think this is, most countries around the world have similar but not the same types of regulations when it comes to banking, the banking system, secrecy acts, yada, 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 yada. What it's looking like is, this is how I feel this is going to kind of move forward. The cryptocurrency space has been told that they have to fall under the compliance standards of the Financial Action Task Force, because a lot of this will be completely interoperable with themselves. We will no longer have a situation where countries need to put money on boats to send it to another country, or have to do so and so have to wait for a 4 or 5 day transfer. All these things will be interoperable. They're all probably going to stem from the same exact system. Don't be surprised within the next year or 2 or 3, let's say 2 years, we start hearing about some type of a system being built that has everything flowing through it, i.e., if money from South Korea trying to pass to the States, or from the States trying to pass to Canada, or from Canada trying to pass to the Philippines, it all has to pass by one simple entity in the middle. who is going to be the third party to make sure, air quotes, that nothing fraudulent has happened, yada, yada, yada. This is how I kind of see everything going, because it doesn't, sorry, talking too fast. Because it doesn't really make a lot of sense to have everyone fall under the exact same rules and laws, especially when other countries don't already fall under the exact same rules and laws as the country who borders with them. But I assume this is because there's probably something in the making, my opinion, as to like a new worldwide financial system. I don't foresee a one government coin, but I definitely do foresee a central bank digital currency from nearly every single major country within the next 3 to 5 years. And they're probably all going to have to flow through one little system. Anyway, the point being, here's the actual article right here from the Korea Jungang Daily. It says cryptocurrency bill gets committee's approval possibly by the end of this year, especially if this is trying to come into force in 2020. We'll probably see more information on this within the next couple of weeks, if it has been approved, which I assume it will be. I think the only countries that we're waiting for now, still the States, Russia, what's the other really big one? India. And I think there's one other country who hasn't given us regulation yet. Anyway, let's move on. To kind of finish things off, Bitcoin advocate Andreas Antonopoulos says it's a lot easier to explain Bitcoin to people living in countries with struggling economies than in places like the US or the UK, where people may struggle less to move money across borders or keep their assets safe in a bank account. But the allure of internet money is universal. In a new episode of a UK-based, first of all, this is not paid advertising, in a new episode of the UK-based podcast Defiance with host Peter McCormick, I think he also runs, the other podcast is What Bitcoin Did. I listen to it sometimes. It's kind of cool. For those of you who don't know, Peter McCormick is if I'm pretty sure this is the same guy, he's a hyper Bitcoin maximalist. He has not financial advice. He has sold off all of his other coins that he had before and just focuses exclusively on Bitcoin. I think he gets paid in Bitcoin as well. Kind of said, I think he only tries to also buy things in Bitcoin. He's a Bitcoiner who covers topics and technologies that are openly resisting authority. Antonopoulos frames a pro-crypto argument in light of how modern systems of money are moving further and further from their primary purpose of facilitating commerce. He said, even while in the Western world, we kind of have the best forms of money and banking that money can buy, even those are horribly fragmented, slow, inefficient, and full of mistakes. But the truth is that it's the best. It gets depressingly bad from there on. So if you go to South America or Africa or even Southern Europe, if you go into Asia, the money systems get progressively more political, more surveillance, more about control, less about commerce, and even more inefficient. If you haven't done so before, I would suggest, especially if you are relatively new or if you have never heard this man speak, I suggested you should. I'm going to remember to leave a link in the description below with this actual podcast so that you can hear it for yourself. It's very important, I believe, to hear what Andreas has to say. I started listening to Andreas Antonopoulos around 2012. I did not care for him. 12, 13, 14, I thought he was one of the most annoying people in the entire world. And then eventually I sat there and just listened, as opposed to folding my arms and being like, ugh, can't stand him. And everything he says makes a lot of sense. It makes perfect sense that people in countries that aren't as economically stable or as economically strong, air quotes, as the US or the UK may not be into, or rather that people in the US and the UK may not be into Bitcoin as much as other countries where they're simply not doing as well. A lot of the things he said before have come true, not in like a prophetic way, but in more like a logical way. Like, if things get bad, people may use Bitcoin. If so-and-so happens, people may use Bitcoin. Bitcoin's probably going to make it. And everything he said thus far has kind of come true. And he is saying a lot of things in the last year or two that have kind of not shaken me to my core, but it's more like a warning for the future. Because he mentioned a year or two ago that we are entering a space where governments are going to start making their own crypto, and where corporations are going to start making it as well. And this was before Facebook had even announced that they were going to be launching Libra. So he knows a thing or two like I said, if you are new to the cryptocurrency space, go to the description below. I implore you, if you have time in your day, to listen to the video, or even if you've been in the cryptocurrency space for a while, just to get some extra understanding of where crypto is actually going. People keep asking me why I'm bullish on Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space. And it's usually because of people like Andreas. It doesn't usually fall down to Twitter critics or people talking about that this coin's going to 10x. It usually has to do with the more real world use case of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And this is why I said it's very fascinating that he said this. And then when you look at Google Trends, it's actually countries in Africa who are searching for Bitcoin the most, which leads me to believe that adoption is happening even right under our noses. I like it. As always, a very special, phone's upside down, very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Shoop Shoop Diddy Wop, Homer Hummer Wang Dang, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Ting Tang, Walla Walla Bing Bang, these noises, Sammy Boocha, Bodie McBoatface, Yes to Crypto, Miller Hitch Test Every Day and Cal Skips Leg Day, Minting Coins, Jeremy Fox, Jim Gardner, Anthony Charles, Nick Mangialavori, Paxis, Crypto Beer Shipmate, Vlad the Impaler, Richie Rich III, Nick Kanaya, Setsuna Damien, Nicholas Runner with One Piece, One Love, Cryptopolis, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Strange Radio Central, Mechanic, Mil Weezy, Adobo, Bankroll Network, Crypto Joe 242 to the World, Wise Night Owl, Jared Schneider, Triple M and J, Woody and Daisy, Brady Niels, Master Ventures in Thailand, Mohamed Maroni, Adam Graysick, Todd Mullis, Bare Bones Mining, and Professor Wally from Gun Abata Ayuna University. Thank you all very, very much for your support. At the moment, if you are not looking at the screen, avert your eyes. The prices of the cryptocurrency market are currently in a downward movement. Bitcoin is currently down 3.38%, $6,900. Tether's going up, so if you're holding stable coins, making out like a bandit. I assumed the market was going to go back down. Why? Because whenever I have that feeling in my bones that I want to buy some more, I always know. It's just a thing. Like the moment I see prices, I'm like, it looks like a good time to buy. I open my eyes, the prices are going back down. The point being, the entire market, except for Tron, is up like one, it's also going down. We'll see where this leads us during the end of the day. Fundamentals are still great. Tons of people around the world are searching for the Bitcoin. However, prices aren't, dare I say, reacting. Regardless of that, I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.